Welcome to UK Federal Credit Union's Mindful Money podcast, where we share expert tips and inspiring stories to keep your finances in check while maintaining your zen.
Welcome to the Mindful Money podcast. My name is Andrew Miller, Director of Marketing for UKFCU. And I'm excited to have Fernando and Bernie and Bella here with me. I'm going to let y'all introduce yourselves right now.
I'm Isabella Magnelli, and I'm on the UK gymnastics team, and I'm currently getting my master's in marketing.
And I am Fernando Beltran. I am on the UK cheer team. I'm working on my bachelor's degree in kinesiology and health promotion with a minor in coaching.
Awesome. And you said marketing?
Yes.
There we go. Now, this is home right here.
Yeah.
So you get to do some fun stuff like this, right?
Right.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you all coming on today. Like I said, relaunching the UKFCU podcast titled Mindful Money. And really, the goal is to just provide some good financial resources and conversations around some of the things that we all think about and maybe don't talk about every day. Because talking about money and things of that nature is still a little bit taboo. So we're going to try to get some of that stuff out there and really understand, for the purpose of this conversation, you know, obviously you all are students at the University of Kentucky, student athletes, and really just want to talk about, you know, how are students managing their money today? You know, if you all can talk a little bit about, you know, what's your process, whether you're using a bank account or like a fintech, like a cash app to do everything, or and maybe what your friends are doing, kind of what trends are you all seeing?
I know for me and my friends, we use Venmo a lot to have interactions with giving money and stuff. So, I mean, I know with me, the bank that I use isn't around the Kentucky area, so it is hard for me to have cash. So I do use Venmo a lot, but I like regularly check my bank account, and that's kind of like the tactics that my friends and I use is really Venmo.
Yeah, Venmo and then the mobile bank
Yeah.
account or mobile app, that whatever your bank
Yes.
is. Yeah, it's not UKFCU. Boo! But
Well, I will be changing my bank whenever I can. So.
well, consider us.
Yes.
We know there are a lot of great credit unions and other FIs out there. So very cool. What about you?
So I like to keep it a little old school. I like to have cash. I like to just keep cash at home.
Yeah.
I know it's probably the smartest idea, but I like to keep a certain amount of cash at home just for if I need it to be available, you know, in the instance that I need to have cash somewhere.
Yeah.
But also I go through Chase Bank and I have my checkings and I have a savings. And my checkings just for, you know, everyday living expenses. And then my savings, I'll take a little bit of my like paycheck. I work in the service industry, so that's why I always have cash on me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll take a little bit of my paycheck, throw that into my savings. I'll try to do around about $100 a week if I can,
Okay.
or just whatever is available.
Okay.
So, but also Venmo is a really big one for me as well. So I like to use Venmo as a source of, I'm going to put my money that I'm going to use to pay my rent, and I'm going to leave it in my Venmo because I'm not going to touch that. I don't have a Venmo credit card. I just
Okay.
have the app.
There you
So
go.
that way I can't just go to the store. Oh, I have a Venmo card. Let me swipe it. No, I have it off to the side. And I'm like, hey, it's the first of the month. I'm going to transfer it over. And boom, rent's paid. Just in case in the instances where it's like, oh, I spent a little too much money. Now I can't pay the rent. But I have it right there in the Venmo. I can just transfer it over. That way rent's paid. Same for any kind of car, utilities, or anything like that.
So discipline. Discipline is important.
Yes,
Kind of what you're
very.
saying, right?
Very.
How disciplined are you?
I'm pretty, okay, I'm going to be completely honest. When I came in as a freshman and the stipend that we do get, you know, I wasn't good with my money right away.
Yeah.
I'm an 18-year-old girl and I'm getting paid, and I have friends that like to shop and go out to eat for food and have coffee all the time and stuff. So it has been a journey, honestly, for me, the discipline part for my money. But over the past 2 years, I've really seen a growth within that discipline, and that has a lot to do with NIL and just my resources that UK has to offer with financial things and stuff. But going based off of what he said, I obviously get direct deposit with a lot of just my bills and stuff. And I have a checking account and I have a savings account. And whatever I get paid for the first month, I kind of budget out my money. And so I take out all my expenses and everything. And whatever I'm left with is what I have left. And then I kind of take about 500 from that into my savings. And I kind of do that every month to keep myself in track. But
Well, that's awesome. It's great to hear that both of you have like a plan, right? You're not just kind of, a few dollars here and there put in your savings. Like you all are very intentional about it. I think that's great. It's also great. Shout out to our friends at the UK Athletic Department because they're obviously providing you all some resources and trying to, coach and build that foundation for, basic money management because it's so incredibly important.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that as people in, this society, we don't, some people are engineers, some people are architects, and there are things that certain people only talk about and you and other people will never ever talk about. But money is something we all deal with in one way every day. So that's super cool. I want to go back to something you were talking about. So obviously you said, so real quick shout out, there's no banks here where you bank at. Where are you from?
I'm from New York.
Okay, shout out to New York. Fernando, you said you bank with Chase.
Yes.
How often do you go into Chase Bank? Like an actual branch?
I would say around twice a week.
Okay, so you're like frequent flyer.
Yes.
That's awesome. We see a lot of trends in banking where obviously the students and young adults are less likely to go into a branch and more technology focused, and that's great. But what's the importance of having the branch to you? Like, how important is that?
It's important for me just because I like going into the bank personally to have that human interaction and handing the money directly. I know the ATMs are available and everything, but I like to be able to just walk up to the counter. This is how much I'm gonna deposit. The person's gonna check it. She's gonna double check it and run it through the machine, make sure that it's all right. Machines can make errors, and that's kind of one of my fears. That's why I don't like to use the ATM.
Yeah.
So I like to make sure that I have a branch that's close by, there is one that's maybe 5 minutes away from campus. So super easy access. I go in there, I deposit any kind of money I need, any kind of checks or anything like that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the cool things about UKFCU is we have branches throughout Lexington, and I think we have people like Fernie that enjoy coming in and not only just seeing the people, but knowing that if there is an issue, we have people there to help, right? It's not just transactional, take cash and that type of thing. But if there's, if you have a question about a car loan or something like that, we have people there for those questions. So you touched on a little bit on NIL. So let's talk about this because it's kind of more or less been the Wild Wild West the last 5-10 years, however long it's been around now. How has NIL impacted you all, both from on the athletic side as well as your personal life? Has it made, how's that impacted you? Has it made life good? Has it made life challenging? Talk a little bit about that because I think there's a lot of people that they understand the basic concept of NIL and athletes being able to represent themselves and earn money off their name, image, and likeness. But what other impacts are people not thinking of and you all are having to deal with?
I think the main thing is being offered the amount of money that we are and kind of giving it to us. And, that's where the discipline part comes in action. Like you're able to actually do these opportunities and be able to get your name and image and likeness out there for people to really see who you are, whether it's through commercial, through social media, through podcasts, whatever it is. And so for me personally, this has really helped my brand as a athlete and a gymnast and really as a person. It created my platform to be a lot bigger than it is. And just to be able to have the opportunity to do NIL is pretty awesome financially for me. A couple years ago, I had a campaign with White Girl Maggard, and that changed my future, when I get out of college, amazingly. And what I actually did with that money is I actually put it into a mutual fund account that I already have, instead of just keeping it in my bank account, because here and there we'll get some desires and temptations to kind of just take it out and play with it. And I didn't even want to touch it at all. So I had done that. But just financially, just being able to get this money that I'm getting blessed with has just truly changed my life day to day, but also the future out of college.
So I personally don't have much experience with NIL. So anytime I've done any kind of jobs while being a student athlete, it's always been kind of independent work. So a couple years back, when I was at my junior college, I was at Navarro for 3 years, and I got the opportunity to work with Buick.
Yeah.
So
And that was
because
the Netflix documentary.
yes, so the
where
Netflix documentary
things
came
were
out,
blowing up.
and they wanted to promote their new car that they were coming out with. So they reached out to the coach, and they're like, "Hey, we would love to have some cheerleaders if anyone's available." So I signed up for it, and I was able to participate in it. So it was almost like an NIL deal, but they were just kind of giving me checks directly.
Okay.
So it wasn't necessarily through NIL or anything like that.
Okay.
So it was basically just kind of a normal job.
Gotcha.
So I, signed the contract, everything, and the money was amazing. And instead of just kind of, being in my first like 2 years of college and just kind of like spending it on whatever, I decided to kind of put some of that money away because I was also getting the period to transfer over to Kentucky.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, that's going to be a big move. College is going to be a little more expensive. I'm going to have to, pay rent and everything else because I was living in the dorms at my junior college.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to worry about things like rent. So I decided to kind of put money off to the side, and I knew I was like, I'm probably going to drive around. It's a big school, so I'm going to have to get a car as well.
Yeah.
So I ended up saving up as I transitioned into it to be able to make sure that I could have enough money saved for car payments.
Yeah.
So I ended up buying a car.
A Buick?
No.
They should have given you a discount.
That's what I'm saying. I wish. I would love that. But I got a nice little Toyota Corolla.
Nice.
So I got a Toyota. It was reliable. It was
There you
brand new. It was 22. Had to like 30 miles.
Good on gas.
Yeah, it's amazing on gas. I love it. I love that thing. So I saved up to make sure I was financially stable to make sure that my first year at Kentucky, I wasn't struggling through everything, not being able to pay my car payment, my rent. So I did. I worked for them. I think it was twice for 2 years.
Yeah.
So I saved all that money as I went and put it into my car payments, my rent, and then here we are now.
So once again, the trend I'm hearing is discipline. So you all are both
Very.
incredibly disciplined for young adults, in my opinion, because I don't think I was, and I didn't have nearly probably the income that you all have when I was in college, because I was not an athlete, as you can tell. Are your friends, are your other athletes that are on the teams with you, are they just as disciplined, or is it kind of all over the place?
I feel like it's kind of all over the place. It really depends. We actually talked about this in one of our financial meetings through UK. You have like a financial, I think it's called like personality. So like you're a spender, saver, shopper, debtor, or something like that. And I have a lot of shoppers on my teams, but then I also have a lot of savers and I have a lot of spenders. It really kind of depends, but I feel like the more mature I am getting with understanding that money is getting given to me for a purpose, that discipline aspect has really sat with me, and I've done a lot through just really caring for my money and not taking it as like, wow, I'm getting blessed with this, let me go out and spend it. I'm going to actually save it and be able to, when I'm out of college, buy a car if I need to, because my dad's leasing my car right now. So when I graduate, now that's on me. And when I get an apartment and all those kinds of things. And so it kind of depends. And I feel like the whole personality aspect really plays a play into it. But being able to really just get lump sums of money and understanding what to do with it, the right thing to do, has really helped me.
That's awesome. What about your teammates? Everybody all over the place?
I feel like it's a little bit about the same,
Okay.
honestly. I feel like there's some people that definitely like to spend their money, and there's probably some good group of them that would like to save it as well.
Okay.
The way I see it is just the easiest way for me to save money is not going out to eat.
Yes.
And a lot of my teammates like to go out to eat,
Yes.
like for their meals. I personally like to save, like budget my money by like buying the bulk groceries that I need for the week, and then prepping every single meal for the day for the entire week. I'll do my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner, and then like my snack. And then I'll have that set instead of going out to eat and going to cook out to First Watch and spend, on average, it's like $15 on one meal. Like that's the average
Probably
now.
20 with ticket first ones.
Exactly. So it's like on average, you're spending $15 to $20 7 days a week. That adds up. versus if you were to spend, you could spend half of that on the groceries, prep entire meals for the week. You just save yourself, $70 a week.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like Fernie's low-key trying to brag like he can cook.
Yeah.
just a little bit. Just a little bit.
That's awesome. So one of the other things that maybe I'm kind of seeing come out of this is, have you all found yourself maturing faster than you think you might otherwise have in terms of money management, since you're having to think about taxes and things like that, whereas other 18, 19-year-old college students don't even have to worry about those things?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think for sure. I mean, NIL is like a job, and my sport is like a job as it is. And I feel like a lot of people, like going back to your other question, I feel like a lot of people don't really understand like how much effort and time it takes to be able to do these NIL opportunities. I feel like I really have matured in the budgeting and really how to spend that money and stuff. And I think it's really cool how UK offers just financial meetings and financial advisors and people that really can guide you, especially since this whole NIL thing is pretty big. But yeah, the mature aspect I definitely have seen within the past 2 years with me. When I came into college, I was like, okay, I'm going to save up my money so I can buy a car for myself when I get out. And then 2 years goes by and I'm like, wow, I have like nothing. What am I doing? Yeah. Spending it on stupid stuff, and the next day, like, it's not mattering. But one of the things that I've really learned is I actually, within my expenses, I actually tied each month to my church. And so that has also created a lot of blessings with me with NIL opportunities, giving to the kingdom, and then the Lord just providing more for me. So a lot of maturity throughout the past 2 years, but I've been really excited since this is my last year to really see what I'm going to end up with at the end for the maturing aspect of it. So
that's awesome.
No, absolutely, because I feel like my first year I wasn't the smartest when it came to money.
Yeah.
I was already used to kind of living on my own, but once I got into college, I'm like, all I'm doing is school, cheer, and a little bit of work. I'm like, but that money I'm getting from work is, I don't pay for rent at the dorm. I have a meal plan. I'm like, I could buy some fun stuff. Yeah. I was like, I could buy this, I can buy that. So my first year was just like kind of a learning process, and then by the time I got to my second year, I was like, oh, I need to be a little smarter. And then now I'm here at Kentucky, and I'm just like, I feel like I've improved so much more than when I first started college. Just my money management skills, being able to save, knowing how much I need to save each time has just improved. I'm not buying unnecessary things. I'm buying more things that, are going to help me out. So it's just daily things that are improving my life every single day.
That's awesome. And I think when we all look back, I think we all have to go through that learning process, that growth process, and sometimes it's more painful for others than it is for some people. But so let me ask you a quick question, because we'll kind of tie it up here quickly. 2 questions. Do you feel like you have a good financial foundation in terms of the understanding, not the actual dollar signs in your bank account, but do you feel like you have a good financial foundation and understanding of how to manage your money? And then what's one recommendation you would give, not to just a student athlete, but any student entering college? What's your one recommendation in terms of how to better either understand or grow their knowledge about money management?
I feel like I have a good understanding and foundation of management. Okay. I definitely have a lot more to learn, obviously, but for, like a foundation, I feel like I'm pretty set, and I'm able to kind of go off of that and learn a lot more. And one tip I would definitely give any student athlete who's getting into learning how to save money is something I did myself. So I bought a little book, and they have little sleeves in them, and they tell you how much money to put into each sleeve. Okay. So that was kind of my little journey on how to save money. Yeah. So each week it was like, oh, put in $5. I'm like, okay, I'll put $5 in. And then the next one, it's like, put $10. And I'm just like putting in every single week. And I'm just like, well, why don't I just round up instead and put a little more. I have extra, might as well put in a little extra so I'm not tempted to spend it on something I don't need. So for all student athletes or just even regular students, it's a little book you can get on Amazon. It's like $10, and it's supposed to be around 52 weeks. You save a little bit here and there, whatever you can, you throw it in there, and then you just total it out at the end of the year.
Okay.
And then after that, open up a savings account, put it in there, and
Got a
then
nice little nest egg.
yeah,
There we go.
that's probably the best way to start.
Okay.
If you're brand new to it, you're not really sure where to go
Yeah.
or where to even start. That was my favorite way, and I still do it too because I like to keep cash at home.
Yeah.
I just have my little book in my drawer, and every so often I'll throw the cash in there.
And try not to rate it so you can buy PS5, right?
Exactly.
Because I think that maybe happens sometimes.
Yeah.
What about you, Bill?
Yeah, I feel like I definitely do have a good foundation, for sure, especially right now. And one tip that I would give students or student athletes is really once that paycheck or whatever it is that hits your account or you get in a check every month, take that total amount, do all your expenses, rent, utilities, credit card. If you get your hair done every month, take that out, nails, like take everything out from your total, have a total at the end, and then you take however much, maybe 30% of that money, put it to your savings. So you have this money for you, but then at the same time, since you have that money, you have to be really responsible with it. So especially for girls, like going out to Starbucks all the time, because I was guilty of it. But buying
adds up.
coffee,
Yeah,
it
really
adds up.
does.
It really does. And my mindset one time was like, oh, if I spend about $150 a month on coffee, that's like if I were to spend one weekend going shopping. But having that mindset actually destroyed me at the end because I was buying coffee, but then also wanting to go buy stuff. And so really understanding that, like, save money to go buy you a coffee machine, and then see how much money you get to save from buying coffee. And that really has helped me budget my money over the past year. Is just taking that money out after my expenses and stuff and seeing like what I can do with it. Also, just when you're bored, I feel like a lot of times, especially with girls or even guys, like when you're bored, you want to go and do stuff. I know with girls, like you want to go shop and everything, but I feel like when you're bored, maybe think about, do I really need this? And I know it's hard because I struggled with it, but at the end of the day, it's never going to satisfy you. Like these materialistic things never satisfy you, and you're going to continue just fall into that trap. So just find things that make you feel happy or whatever it is that doesn't allow you to spend so much money at the end of the day.
Online shopping is so accessible.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
Amazon
kind of 1.5,
Amazon.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Bezos knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So,
Most people already have their information saved, so it's just
That's right.
add a cart.
Yep.
that's
They
right.
don't even think about it.
That's right. That's why he has a couple of yachts.
Yeah.
But anyway, so shameless plug before we get out of here. Check out our Student Center branch on campus. You all know as well as anybody who's listening to us. We have such an amazing staff there on campus ready to help not only the professors but the students on campus and the administrators there. We also just rolled out a new student rewards account with 5% cash back on debit card spend.
Nice.
So, you talk about tiny savings here and
Oh,
there, that adds up. So definitely, check us out. We're definitely trying to improve our product suite for students and making sure that, we are not only delivering products and service for our members, our older members, but our younger as well, because you all are the future. And it's incredibly important to make sure you all have the financial tools that you all need to kind of navigate daily life.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
thank you all so much.
Thank
I
you.
really
Thank you.
appreciate it. It's a great conversation.
Yes.
Good luck on cheer and gymnastics.
Thank
And like
you.
I said, Excite Night. My
Yes.
son is ready to come check it out. So here in January. And good luck. So you have would you say Midnight Madness coming up?
We have Big Blue Madness.
Big
So
Blue
that's the
okay.
kickoff to basketball season where we will be performing a big routine that we do that incorporates every single person on the team. And it's about a 4-minute routine.
Yeah.
And we're just doing a variety of tumbling, baskets, stunts, pyramids. People love it. It just showcases some of the ideas that we're having to do in our routines.
Yeah.
So, it's just something spectacular to watch, and, you see people get thrown into the air, everything. So definitely, if you're going to attend Big Blue Madness, stick around and watch that.
Yeah, check it out. That's how old I am, because I call it Midnight Madness. And Midnight Madness for a long time. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Mindful Money Podcast is brought to you by UK Federal Credit Union for entertainment purposes only. Its content is not to be regarded as legal or financial advice. The views expressed by guests are their own. Their appearance on the podcast does not imply an endorsement by UK Federal Credit Union of them, their views, or any entity they represent. Views and opinion expressed by UK Federal Credit Union employees and or guests are those of the employees and or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of UK Federal Credit Union or its board of directors. To learn more about UK Federal Credit Union, visit UK Federal Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.